everyone, and welcome back to Agents of Damned, our Let's Play D&D podcast featuring myself, your sometimes benevolent, often malevolent Dungeon Master, Jordan Roman. And, as always, I am joined by my fellow players.
Hi guys, I'm Katie, and I play Safe.
Hey guys, I'm Christina, and I play Winterra.
And I'm Drew McLean, and by Bahamut's plentiful pool supply pavilion, I play the good Dr. Arlo Aegon.
Points for alliteration.
Thank you.
Can I get that one more time, please?
The plentiful pool supply pavilion. I stayed nice and far away from the mic on that one to keep it from peaking.
I'm so glad that I gave myself this homework of writing all these down. That was definitely a smart move on my part.
Definitely.
See, what I did was like an idiot. I wrote them all down in a notebook that I was using for multiple purposes, and then I started having to use the notebook heavily for work. And then I just keep like not wanting to take it out of my work bag, and so I just keep having to ad-lib them anyway. So I did a lot of work like planning a bunch of them that I have like that are still sitting in a book in my home in a bag, and I was like, I'm not opening that fucking bag and like doing that effort.
Oh my god.
So I still have to make them up on the spot anyway.
That almost sounds like it'd be easier to just open the book.
It would, but I would also have to like do it. I don't want to.
Speaking of things that you guys don't want to do, how about we go through the long and tedious process of a recap to remind you guys exactly the awkward situation you find yourselves in.
No.
Yay!
That's the spirit! Last time, the agents and the Fun Pals gathered the Ioun stones and prepared to head back to base, before Fryden realized that without a new fugitive, the stones would likely be discovered and confiscated. Arlo suggested that they use Sniffs as their stand-in fugitive, and tied him into a makeshift Knoll balloon and brought him back to base. On their way back, Arlo had a heartfelt goodbye with Caladan, and a near run-in with Commodra that ended with Arlo rolling on the ground. Once returned to base, the two teams reported to Ryan. While happy to hear the stones were safely brought to base, she was confused as to why Sniffs had also been brought back. Ultimately leaving it for a later decision, Ryan dismissed the teams to rest and recuperate. After leaving, Winterra sensed that the animals she had left for Bookworm had been dismissed, and she made a beeline for the archives. Winterra excitedly tried to ask Bookworm about the questions she had learned, but Bookworm instead left her a note saying there was a gift in her room and quickly left. Back in her room, Winterra found a magical picture book answering the questions Bookworm had found. However, there were 3 questions left unanswered. As she tried to find Bookworm, Winterra ended up regrouping with Arlo, Saith, and the other field operatives celebrating the return of the Fun Pals. Upon arriving, Hope challenged Winterra to an arm wrestling contest, which resulted in an exploded table. Afterwards, Seven contacted Saith with thaumaturgy to tell her about his strange new powers through his usual awkward mannerisms. At the same time, Fryden gave Arlo some advice on how to truly push his teamwork to the next level. The teams all celebrated into the night, ending with the agents back in their room, surrounded by an awkward silence that practically put a wall between our heroes. Winterra eventually broke the silence, asking Saith about the ability to resurrect a single soul. After a long, emotional conversation, they decided to bring back Winterra's younger brother, Oliver. With a mischievous smile, Modi shattered the gem containing the spell, and Saith sensed that Oliver had been returned to the material plane, breathing life once more. And thus, we resume our tale. You are all still in your room. This has all just transpired. Modi, at this point, sort of leaps off of your lap, Saith, and just goes to curl off in a corner somewhere. What do you all do?
So Winterra is sitting there looking kind of nervous, and she looks over at Saith and asks, "So how long does this normally take?"
So here's the thing. I didn't consider the fact that where he died might come into play.
Winterra has a deadpan look on her face. and she has the literal emotion of the ... face. And she gets up, and she shoves pretty much everything that's normally on her bed into a bag, and goes and says, I must leave now, and runs out of the room, heading towards the direction of probably Odart.
Maybe we ought to, go to the boss lady? Perhaps she could assist?
Are you following her? Because she's fully already left the room.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Arlo, are you also following?
Arlo was also following. I was like, yeah, we can fill her in after. She gets mad sometimes, but I'm sure she'll be fine with this. And then Arlo thinks for a second, and he's like, she definitely won't be fine with this, but we're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, Winterra is kind of freaking out, and she is continuing to run towards the direction of the teleportation circles. I assume that's probably where the only place we've seen Odart usually at.
For the most part, yeah. You'll occasionally see him in other places, but more often than not, he's in the teleportation room.
Yeah, so she's like running off in that direction, and she sort of shouts behind her, and she's just like, I don't care how mad she gets. I need to get home. I need to get home now.
So, as you stomp your way through the halls, you eventually do make your way over to the teleportation room, and you don't initially see anyone. However, after a moment, you do hear snoring coming from up above.
Okay, if I look up, do I see Odart?
You see Odart floating, dead asleep.
Wait, can I do something?
Always.
I swear to God.
I'm nervous.
Why did you react like that, Katie?
Because I have a bad feeling about where this is going.
No, it'll be fine. He's handled Odart with such tact in the past. Please, go on.
So we see Odart sleeping, and Aros goes, oh my god, Safe, put your shirt back on.
Oh, you got... what are you on? It's late.
Odart, I need to get home now. There's an emergency. I have to get back to my home.
What? What are you talking about?
I need to get home. Can you send me home?
No.
Why?
Do you have authorization to go? Because I can't just do that for no reason. I'll get in a lot of trouble.
Winterra is growling and baring her teeth at this point.
Easy, girl.
Look, I don't know what exactly this emergency of yours is, but I'm sure even you've realized by now, like, there's rules you gotta follow here. Even as much of a little shit as I like to be, I can't break all the rules. I actually usually don't. You know, unless they're stupid, non-important rules, but this one's, like, safety related, so I have to follow this one. You need to get approval in order to leave for non-mission related things. Saith can tell you from when she went bounty hunting recently. She had to go through a long period on that one.
Yeah, but we should go back and see Ryan.
Yeah, just tell her, she'll get it started, and then when you're good, then I'll teleport you over, but I'm not... Look, I'm sorry, I am not sticking my neck out for you on this one. That is too much yellow tape to have to go through for that. I'm going back to bed now.
What if Saith offered to go on a date with you?
No.
Wait a minute.
Too much yellow tape. I'm going back to my sleep where that's not an issue.
2 things. Fuck you. Second thing. Fuck you. And you know what? There's a third thing. Fuck you.
Saith, every time you say that, you've noticed that Odar kind of like peeks over to see if you're talking to him.
Not you fucking pervert.
This is my favorite bit.
Yes, I know it is.
Oh my god. I really need to talk to HR. Okay, alright.
Again?
Anyway, I know that you're worried about Oliver. I am too. But there were no clauses to this. Wherever he is, I'm sure that he is safe. For now. But we do need to follow the rules. And I mean, this is coming from me. Like, I'm the one that Ryan distrusts the most.
Correct. Winterra, roll me an intelligence check real quick.
Okay. That was a 19.
As Saith tells you all this stuff, you do get a thought in your head that your family watches over that forest with a diligence unlike anything you've even seen at Damned. You know that the odds of them not knowing that Oliver has come back by the morning is highly unlikely. And even if that does happen, he would for sure be found within the day.
That was actually where I was about to go. So when Tara looks over at Saith, and she looks really nervous and really worried still, and she's just like, it's not just Oliver I'm worried about. What is the rest of my family supposed to think when suddenly he's alive again? They don't know. I didn't think about that, Saith. I didn't think.
Easy. There are ways of getting messages to them.
Do you wanna call him on speaking stone?
Arlo, do you genuinely think my family knows what a speaking stone is?
Oh my god, will you guys leave if I send a message to Silvery Moon?
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe.
Then leave, I'll do it, gods!
Thank you, oh Dart.
You're not buttering me up right now, I'm mad. He says, blushing.
She kisses his cheek.
He faints.
Hey, wait a minute, not yet, you little perv. You still need to send out the message.
Okay, right, yeah, no, shit, fine, I'll send a message to go to the woods where your family's at and talk to him.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, okay. I for real do need you guys to, get out of here, now, though.
Goodbye!
Then we all head back to our shared room.
The next day comes, and you guys do speak to Ryan in order to get the ball rolling as soon as possible on getting you guys the clearance over there. Ryan said that she would do what she could, but she couldn't give you an exact deadline as to when that would happen, since, other people might also want to make a quick, unexpected visit. But she does put in the order and start working on the paperwork for it, and just tells you that she will let you know the second she can let you go. So, in the meantime, you guys just kind of have a little bit of time to do whatever you want. Since you are the one who is going through the most emotional turmoil on this, we'll just go ahead and start off with Winterra on this one.
Amazing.
So, I imagine that throughout this you've been trying to find Bookworm, but she's been impossible to find at this point. She's not in the archives you can find, she's not in the dining area, you cannot find her. And amidst all this, Orlo actually spots you, and he offers to do something to kind of, help you out a little bit. Just cheer you up, and he even says he may be able to help you lure out Bookworm.
Yeah, Winterra agrees to go with him, still just trying to keep herself distracted.
He says to give you about an hour so he can prepare. You wait your hour, and then you meet him in the kitchen area. And when you do go there, you find that Orlo is not alone, as he is accompanied by both Thorngull and Sniffs.
Interesting.
Ah, good to see that you have made it. Come. I would like to show you one of, my personal favorite recipes.
Winterra looks at him with one eyebrow raised and walks over.
I hope you don't mind the company. I need Thorngull's help for this one in order to make it to the best of its abilities. You look over at Thorngull and he just kind of gives you the sup nose, hey! How you doing, buddy?
Been better. Hi, Thorngull.
Not great, man. But we'll see if we can fix that. And then Orlo says, as for Sniffs, the boss has assigned him over to Divine Shield since she believes that they will be able to help him learn to control his powers best. He won't be on their team, more just they'll be tutoring him. However, they're out on assignment right now, so I have been placed in his care. Or placed in charge of his care.
Winterra does not offer jerky like she normally would at this point to Sniffs.
Sniffs looks up wantingly, and then Orlo, without, like, turning away from you, opens a drawer to the side, pulls out a piece of jerky, and just tosses it to him. And that's why.
Yes, he does like jerky.
Indeed. He's a very simple one to keep occupied. But we're not here to talk about our new mongrel companion. We are here to teach you how to cook. And in this particular instance, I will be teaching you Bookworm's favorite recipe. 4 shroom soup. And at this point, you see Forngal kind of like get like really bright-eyed and eager and starts bouncing up and down. It's like, that's why I'm here!
Oh boy.
Yes, so I've already set up a decent amount of the ingredients that we'll have. The only thing I need now are the mushrooms. Forngal, if you would please. Got it, boss! And you see Forngal, like, looks like he's focusing really, really hard. Like, he's thinking about something really complicated, like times tables for him. And you see on his back a bunch of different mushrooms start to pop out from his back. And Orlo just starts picking them out of his back as if he were in a garden.
Ew.
Oh, okay.
Gross.
Honestly, I don't get why Winterra can't do this. She's a druid.
Forngal, you know there's different types of us, right?
Whoa. But like, I mean, well, you know what? Actually, that's fair. I guess I didn't think about the fact that I can do that because I'm a Myconid. And then Orlo just kind of stops midway, looks back like he's about to ask a question, but then just doesn't.
Yeah, Winterra's already shaking her head, just no.
I mean, maybe I can show you how to do it if you want. It'd probably help for this.
I don't know that would work, Forngal.
It might. Couldn't hurt to try. We both have an amazing attunement to nature. Even Bookworm is able to manipulate things far beyond that of a typical druid, despite her limitations.
Okay. I'll give it a try. It can't hurt to keep my mind off of things.
Well, for now, let's focus on the recipe. You can have your little mushroom session with Forngal afterwards. Come, let me show you. And for your downtime, Winterra, you get 2 things. First, from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, you may add the chef feat.
Ooh.
And then, of course, because it's me, you know how I do. Of course you get a homebrew thing.
Oh boy.
You gain a new ability called Myconid Soul.
Huh.
Forngal has taught you how to channel the power of the Myconid, and you can now grow fungi on your body. When you take a long rest, you can create 1d4 worth of any combination of the following kinds of mushroom. The DC for them is equal to your spell save DC, and the mushrooms will shrivel and die after 24 hours. You have the Nap Shroom, which inflicts sleep on a failed Constitution saving throw. The Smile Shroom, which imitates Charm Person. The Void Shroom, which can blind or deafen someone.
Jesus.
And the Bad Shroom, which poisons someone. They must be ingested, though, to do this.
Man, sounds like this ability makes you a pretty fun guy.
We'll get to you in a second.
Woo, okay.
Okay, now it's time for Arlo. So, Arlo, you make your way out of the Thymander teleportation circle, actually from the northern half of the Empire, in the Chromatic area, just outside of the Green Dragonborn Kingdom. You make your way over to a fairly isolated little tavern, where you see a blue Dragonborn man standing outside acting as a bouncer. How do you approach?
I walk right up to him and I was like, hey there, how's it going there, bud? Just heading on through.
Afraid the place is occupied right now, unless you happen to know the person that's in there. They did say they're waiting on someone.
He's so much shorter. For anyone listening, as an inside joke, originally Arlo was supposed to be Scottish, but I couldn't do the accent very well, and so I decided to not do that.
And now I'm rubbing it in his face, because mine sucks too.
You're an asshole. You're an
Yours is
absolute asshole.
Not that bad.
Anyway, what do you say?
I didn't even absorb what he was saying. I was so like fucking caught off guard. What did he fucking say?
He said the restaurant was reserved unless you knew who was in there.
Yeah, I'm actually a guest of Miss Ryan.
Oh, lucky you. Head on in, my friend. And he steps aside. As you walk in, you see that the restaurant is in fact completely empty, save for Ryan, who is sitting at the bar, and the bartender, who happens to be a black scale dragonborn.
As like Arlo walks in, he like leans back to like the bouncer and is like, "Yeah, we've got kind of a will they won't they thing going on, but we'll see how it goes tonight."
Oh, you're that guy.
Ooh.
Good luck, pal.
I don't like the tone on that one, but all right.
Okay. So you head in and you sit down next to Ryan, I assume.
That'll do.
You sort of take in the environment around you. It's a pretty quaint little place. It looks like any other stereotypical tavern you may imagine. Wooden stools and tables all over the place. You do see that there is a large speaking stone that seems to be more set up for like visual communication, and it appears to be playing a image of two elderly wizards fighting each other, and up in the corner of the screen you see it says WWE Wizard Wrestling Entertainment.
Oh God, I love that.
You're welcome.
Arlo looks up at the screen. He's like, "Oh man, from Nambular the Crusher is wrestling tonight. I thought he retired."
He might as well have, honestly, at the way he's going.
Yeah, I mean, he gets in there with those young bloods and just doesn't handle himself very well. I mean, I miss his heyday.
Well, he tries to imitate it as best he can through enhancement magics, but it only gets you so far when you're 1 foot in the grave. Please, have a seat.
I surely will. How are you tonight, Ryan?
I am doing quite fine, she says as she takes a drink.
Huh. Yeah, I never noticed. What do you usually drink while you're here?
Coffee. It happens to be the patron's specialty. And she motions over to the black dragonborn, who nods at you and says, "How you doing? What can I get for you?"
Just a whiskey. Neat.
"That is neat," he says as he pours you the whiskey neat. "Just a little bit of humor."
I do tell you, friend, that's a good one. I'm gonna keep that one.
"On the house." The joke, not the drink.
Oh man.
You'll get used to it. Pixie Wings here happens to have a pretty good sense of humor about him.
Wait, Pixie Wings?
Yeah, I used to be the mayor of a nearby town.
Oh, I have no other information about that other than what you have told me just now. That is an interesting story.
It's a weird way of putting it. Roll deception.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh, deception, please be good. Oh no, it's a 12.
You accidentally, as you're trying to avoid eye contact with this man, turn just a little bit too far away, and your back is momentarily exposed. And he sees your own ink tattoo. Wait a minute. The hell's that on your back?
Birthmark.
The hell it is, I recognize that anywhere. That's the same one I have! And he activates his wings of ink. You know that rat bastard Nelg?
I have never heard that name before in my life, although if I had heard of Nelg, I would say that he is a pretty cool dude and he just made a mistake. That happens sometimes.
He didn't even ask! By the way, you notice Ryan is actively not engaging in this conversation, and she is like doing everything in her power to not get involved.
Right.
Smart choice, Ryan. Smart choice.
Well, I mean, what's so bad about having, you have the power of flight.
You just hear briefly under her breath Ryan say, "You know what his name is, why would you say that?" It's Pixie Wings! I wanted Pixie Wings, and instead I got Dragon Wings!
I mean, but, Dragon Wings...
It doesn't match the aesthetic!
In fairness...
I mean, it kinda does, but still. Not the one I want!
In fairness, like, there's still not a whole lot of, like, a matching of the aesthetic with the aggressively putting out your ink dragon wings and yelling about how you didn't get your pixie wings.
What are you saying? At this point,
Uh-oh.
Ryan chimes in with, Pixie Wings, can I get a pot of coffee, please? And he just sort of, like, stomps off toward the back to make this pot of coffee, not breaking eye contact with you at any point. Alright, well, gonna have to work on that one at some other point in time.
You have to be pixie wings on the inside as well.
Stop it, you're not helping!
Sorry, I can't help myself sometimes.
Well, while we have a moment while he's doing that, how have you been? I imagine slightly tense, since the whole thing with Winterra's brother.
I mean, I'm genuinely worried about that situation, and honestly, going home had me a little bit mixed up as well.
Yes, I can imagine. Even coming here, I tend to not stay in the city for too long.
That does make me wonder. I mean, you frequent a bar, but you don't drink. What's the sign of the story on that one?
You already know most of it.
True, but why the no drinking?
I don't think it makes any sense for me not to be at my peak at all times. If I allow myself to falter in any way, even mild inebriation, I worry I may make a mistake like that again. And I can't have that on my conscience. She takes a long sip. So I understand you've gone to the dentist, yes?
Oh, yeah. Finally got that molar checked out. Hey, did you know that the company dentist is called Dr. Grunk's Really Good Shoe Pulling and Crunch Shining?
It's unorthodox, I will admit, but they get the job done.
I know, I just went there and I was like, man, that sounds like something I would have picked.
Look, if I'm being completely honest, this was something that was set up very early on before we had much credibility. It was kind of all that we had. But for an orc, he's not bad at it.
Oh no, he's great. I mean, my teeth have never felt better. And he gave me a lollipop. And Arlo produces, like, a comically large lollipop from his bag.
That's Dr. Grunk. Have I told you the story about the first time I went there?
You're about to?
It was actually one of the funniest things that has ever happened. So, and also might add on to the why I don't let myself get inebriated in any way, because apparently, if I am put under any form of anesthesic, I also have that same problem where I can lose control a little bit. And, well, let's just say the good doctor decided to start working before it had fully kicked in, as far as pain relief, but not as far as, keeping me all there.
Arlo is listening harder to this story than he has ever listened to anything in his life.
Well, as soon as he started to poke and prod at my tooth, I felt the worst pain I'd ever felt, and I just let out my roar, and he immediately cowered in the corner and just started crying. His assistant needed to come over and coax him out. I felt terrible about the whole thing, but looking back on it, I made an orc cry. At the dentist? Who does that?
Ryan, that is the most metal thing I've ever heard about you.
More so than the flaming nunchucks?
Even more so than the flaming nunchucks. And he kind of, without thinking, brushes her hand and then, brings his hand back.
You're getting very ballsy with that, I hope you realize.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I've been thinking. I feel like I have taught you most of the martial techniques that would benefit you. So, I came into a bit of an issue as far as what to teach you next. And then I remembered that, and I thought, what if I could teach you that?
You mean your roar?
My roar, yes.
I don't know, is that something that you can really learn? I mean, I thought it was just kind of one of those differences that we're all born with as Dragonborn. You've got your roar, and I've got, I think, a little bit more developed claws.
Yes, the metallic dragonborn are of a hardier stock than us chromatic dragonborn. However, that does not mean that we are bound by our own limitations. If there's one thing I've learned from my training as a monk, there is nothing you cannot do if you don't set your mind to it. Ki can be a very powerful tool. Now, come on, gather your ki in your gut and just try to let it out.
Alright, I'm gonna try it. I'm really gonna go for Aurora this time.
Roll me a charisma check. Or you know what? Make a performance.
That's worse. Oh.
How is your performance worse than your charisma?
Well, it's not. They're both 0, but I rolled a 17 on the die.
As you take a deep breath in, you feel something bubbling in within you, and you let out a ferocious roar. And you hear from the back room where Pixie Wings was, just glass shatter everywhere. It's like, fuck, what the hell was that?
Oh man, you missed it. This flying giant bird flew over the bar. It was crazy.
Dragon Bird.
Dragon bird.
And she looks over and is like, not bad. A little bit of work, and I think you could find that to be something truly terrifying. And she raises her glass to toast you.
I toast her right back.
Toaster.
Toaster.
So, Arlo, here is what you now have. As an action, you can spend 3 key points in order to make all creatures of your choice that can hear you within 30 feet make a wisdom saving throw. And on a failed save, they are stunned until the start of your next turn.
Metal. Also, can I just say, like, part of my brain, like, as soon as I started, like, alright, try your roar. I thought of Arlo breathing in real deep and just going, ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I said hey.
What's
I'm
going
so glad I
on?
asked you for a roll first. I'm so glad I asked you for a roll first.
I was caught in between that and just going, ah.
Just imagine if it had actually been like a really bad roar, like a really bad roll for a roar, and he had just gone mew.
No.
Oh, no, I would have absolutely forced you to Simba that. So, we now move back over to Saith. Saith, one thing that you have been having to deal with a lot since you had formed this pact with Asmodeus and that became public knowledge is you've been forced to do a lot of warlock paperwork, just making sure that everything that you do with your powers is accounted for to make sure that there's nothing that you may be being manipulated into doing that's not intentional.
Fair enough.
And you're in the archives and you're just going through all this stuff, documenting the thing with Oliver, since that was the most recent use of Asmodeus's powers that you've used. And you hear something. A faint whisper.
Well, I hated that.
Roll me a history check.
19 on the die.
You can't quite place it, but the voice sounds familiar. It sounds warm and friendly. But you can't... It's so close, but you just can't place who it is. And then, from one of the bookshelves, you see what almost looks like the ghostly apparition of some person slip in there as you hear.
Alright, something's trying to tell me something, so I'm gonna follow that, I guess.
You get up from your paperwork and you go over to where you saw this thing go. Every time you get to where you last saw it, you see it duck into another bookshelf area. You keep following it until eventually you come into a dead end where this figure is facing away from you. You can start to recognize some of the features now, so you can get more of a better look. It's a tiefling. Roughly about your height, long black hair. You can tell from the tail that this is a red-skinned tiefling.
There's no way. Mom?
As you say that, the figure turns around and fades out of existence towards you like a mist. But for the briefest of instances, you saw her. Your mother. The voice fades into your chest, and frantically you pull at it, and you pull out your mother's necklace. And you hear...
She's just gonna grasp her amulet and hold it tight.
So, breaking characters slightly, Katie, yours was maybe the hardest one to figure out, because the thing you said you wanted to do directly tied to your level up, as opposed to what these normally are, which is just extra shit. So, here's what I came up with. That invocation that you took, Talisman Rebuke,
Yeah?
you can just have that for free. You can keep your other invocations.
Hey! Yay!
Which means, fun fact for everyone else, she can still read every language because that's the one she gave up.
That is the one that I
Nice.
gave up.
Man, she uses that one so often too.
I know, now I can continue to not use it.
Okay, my fault.
It's come in handy so many times. Remember that one time with the thing, and then oh man.
Oh boy.
I promise I'll use it.
Uh-huh.
Again, I have no leg to stand on. I think I've forgotten in like 8 different situations about magical items that we had that could be helpful.
Oh, for sure. So, you guys have gone through all this. You're, at this point, still just going through your days, waiting and waiting to hear something, anything from Ryan or Odar or someone about when you can go. And there's just been nothing. It's just been agonizingly slow. One night, Winterra, you're heading back to the room, just your nerves all wound up, you're nervous beyond all belief, and you just can't seem to let go of your concerns. Like, is Oliver going to be okay? How are your parents reacting? All these things just rushing into your mind. And then, suddenly, you feel a hand over your mouth as you get pulled into a room.
Excuse me?
You initially tense up like you're ready to attack, but you stop. You recognize the scent. It's Bookworm. As you turn around, you see Bookworm immediately turn visible again.
Oh.
And she puts a finger up to her mouth to say, like, quiet.
Okay. Yeah, Winterra is about to say something and she just kind of stops and looks at her very quizzically.
So Bookworm kind of like moves over you and closes the door. And then you start to feel a breeze, and you know she's using her druid craft to speak to you. And says, I'm sorry I haven't been around much lately. I had a lot of stuff I needed to take care of, and some personal things I needed to attend to.
Are you okay?
I think so. I don't know. Did you like the book?
Oh, yes. It was amazing.
That's good. Winterra, I have a favor to ask of you.
Anything.
This is deeply personal. I'm sure you noticed that there were some questions that I didn't answer.
Winterra just sort of nods slowly.
I want to tell you what they are, and then I want to ask you that favor, if that's okay.
Winterra feels like cold in her stomach, but she nods again.
Thanks. So, the first question, if there were any smells that bring back a happy memory. There's a flower that comes from my old forest. And she lifts up her hand and produces a flower with druidcraft. And you recognize that this is the same flower that she made the first day that you guys met her, when she used it to sort of like point the direction of where you guys needed to go. It looks sort of like a lily flower, but it is larger than most lilies become. and says, "It's a giant's lily. It comes from my old home, the Forest of Lost Giants. It's just south of your home, actually. But..." And she closes her fist, and the flower vanishes. "It's something I only bring up every once in a while because those happy memories just remind me of everything that I lost. And that's the other two questions. Something that you don't know. Something that I don't know, but would want to learn if I could. And something I want to tell someone about me that I don't often share." And she holds out her hand to you, just as she did when she took you into the dreamscape the first time.
Winterra takes it, maybe a little too quickly.
As you do, you are once again whisked into this white void area. Soon you see Bookworm appear next to you, and as was the same thing last time, she starts to speak normally. "So, when I was little, there was someone that I used to spend a lot of time with." And the scene around you changes to this forest that looks somewhat similar to your own, but everything is bigger. All the trees are giant, the flowers are huge, the animals are at least twice as, it doesn't look like there's anything smaller than what would be considered a dire creature in this forest. And you see Bookworm as a little girl.
Oh.
And she's wandering through, wandering through the woods, and she eventually comes across this cave. And when she gets to the cave, she goes inside and finds a little hut. She rushes into the hut without any hesitation and says, "Mr. Bookworm! Mr. Bookworm! I'm back!" And you see this old tabaxi turn around at little Bookworm and smiles and says, "Ah, my friend! It's so good to see you!" And he kneels down to her level, and you just see them smiling and happy. And the Bookworm that you know says, "That was one of the first people that I ever met outside of my village. Most Fearbolg tend not to interact with others outside of their own family, even other clans that are nearby. But this was one of the first friends that I ever had. But then something happened." And the scene fades as you go back to the forest, except now it is engulfed in rot and decay. What isn't a shriveled version of itself has been burned to the ground. And what you see is a skeletal necromancer along with a black hand that just floats near it. And as this scene plays before you, the Bookworm's next to you, starts to hold herself tightly and shivers a little bit.
Winterra puts a comforting hand on her shoulder while she notices that.
She untenses a little bit, but not by a whole lot. And then she says, "That creature killed everyone I knew. My parents, my other clans, my friend. All of them were gone. I don't know who or what that thing was, but I decided one thing on that day when I ran away. I needed to destroy it, so this would never happen to anyone else again." Now, Winterra, as the dream fades, roll me a history check.
Nope. That's a 4.
So, the dream ends, and you find yourself back in the room that you were originally in. And Bookworm has this sort of almost timid sense of renewed passion. Like, it looks like she's determined to do something, but she doesn't have the full confidence to really go through with it. And so she looks at you and says, I need your help to find that creature and destroy it. Will you help me?
Winterra steps closer to Bookworm and puts both of her hands, like, on her shoulders and is looking at her, well, as close to her shoulders as she can get, because I'm pretty sure Winterra is technically smaller than Bookworm.
Yeah.
And she looks at her, up at her, and she's just like, anything. We'll find this creature and destroy it.
Bookworm smiles softly and says, Thanks. You really are a good friend, Winterra. I was hoping we could go soon. I talked to Miss Ryan, and she said as long as I can get someone to accompany me there, then I could go back to my old forest. And it occurs to you as she says that that would cut right through your forest, letting you bypass that little waiting period that you had.
Interesting. Yeah, okay. Good timing. So, Winterra realizes that, and she gets this look of sort of horror on her face as she comes to that realization. And she's just like, Bookworm, I've never told you about what happened when I was younger, have I?
Well, I don't think so, but I just told you a pretty big thing, so if you want to. That sounded a lot more guilt-trippy than I meant for it to.
I mean, I told you my
Well,
secret,
yeah.
so, I mean, I'm not gonna say you're an asshole if you don't, but, like, you kind of
Fucking pony
are.
up, would ya?
Like, get to it, bro. Tit for tat.
You know what I meant.
Winterra steps away from Bookworm, and she's realizing this conversation has gotten easier each time she's had to say it. But she starts telling her about the fire, about what happened, and how when she was younger, she had her and her twin and Oliver. And about the day that their family had to fight off this huge fire that took everything, and how Oliver didn't make it that winter. And she stops and breathes really heavily and says, until Saith got a boon. And she was able to bring one person back. And she brought back my brother.
Her eyes get real wide.
And we've been waiting. I don't know what my family has done. I don't know anything. I haven't heard anything from them. I don't know what's going on. But
She puts a hand on your shoulder and says, if you get Arlo and Saith, I'll let Odart know and we'll go right now.
okay.
We'll figure out both of our things.
Okay.
Alright, so you go and try to find Arlo and Saith while she heads off over to the teleportation area. You, at this point, since I said it was kind of late, you do find Arlo and Saith just chilling in their room. I don't know if you guys want to play this out or just hurry it up.
Arlo and Saith are, like, hanging out in the room. I think they've kind of developed, like, at least, like, a little bit of, like, a banter or rapport now. I imagine they're, like, playing cards, and, like, Arlo knows Saith is cheating, but he can't prove it because her sleight of hand is too good. He's like, there's no goddamn way you had 16 aces. There aren't even that many.
So Winterra comes bounding in, just like the door is just like slammed open. And she comes storming in, and I'm pretty sure she probably fucks up whatever game they're playing.
I don't know. I guess we'll never know who won.
16 ace go fish.
16 ace go fish.
Pretty much.
The game was called Saith Wins.
The game was called
Pretty
Saith
much.
It feels pretty biased, honestly, just like off the title. I don't even know why I agreed to play.
Just for clarification, Bookworm asked just for Winterra to go with her.
No, well, okay, so because she specifically just said, you go get Arlo and say that we can go right now, the implication was Bookworm, because she is perceived to be fairly weak within the organization, basically needs, like, an escort in order to do her thing, and she needed a team to do that, and so she kind of volunteered you guys for that.
Okay.
As Sifu would say, voluntold.
Voluntold, yes.
It's almost as if this is your next mission or something. Hint, hint.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Winterra comes slamming through, destroys this card game, and, like, literally is, again, similar to before, shoving things in her bag. She's just like, we've got to go now. We're going.
Arlo goes, finally, and then pulls a fully packed bag from underneath his bed, and is like, let's go.
You know, Saith is much the same. She's like, oh, we finally got permission. Okay.
I'm actually saying this like, oh, neat, and then like hits the wall and a fake pan falls out or another. Like we're for some reason more ready. We're like, let's go, friendship, ride or die.
We're also helping Bookworm, but that's a different story. But let's go.
Okay.
I'm game for that.
Okay, so you guys run over, bags packed, because I guess that's a thing you guys need to do when you go out and have been doing that every time.
Yeah, sure,
Yep.
whatever.
Arlo has his teddy bear in there.
Hey, fuck you.
Definitely.
We've not established that he's a teddy bear. You don't know that. You don't have a teddy bear.
You're right, I'm sorry, Teggy Owl Bear.
That's better, I guess?
I know you won't say no to that one, because you secretly like it. Anyway. So you guys get over there, and you see Odart once again looks very cranky, as if he was woken up again. And he says, okay, are you guys ready to go?
Winterra just snarls again at him. Full teeth.
Oh my god, just get on the damn thing, please.
Yep, nope. I think that's the fastest that at least Winterra has ever gotten on the teleporter.
Winterra, as you pass by, you hear him mutter under his breath, fucking take you, stupid bear.
Saith is gonna push Winterra along and give him a look of, are you trying to die?
You can't anyway.
Wait, what?
What?
I think we're teleported away?
We're finding out way too many interesting things about Odart lately.
Like, I can't even die anyway. Wait, what happened? What was that part about the immortality? Swamp.
Sounds like a great way to torture someone is just constantly, like, tear into their flesh.
Oh
Especially
boy,
if
if
they
you
can't
guys
die.
only knew.
Wow, dark.
If you only knew. Anywho. So, as the light fades, you guys find yourselves back in Silvery Moon. And upon entry, you hear a familiar voice. Hello, welcome to Silvery... Oh, it's you guys. And you see Niavra.
Sup?
Hi, Niabra. It's good to see you again. How'd the election go?
It went well. I've been put in charge of public relations. Granifor's been doing a fantastic job.
Oh, Granifor won?
It was close, but yes, he won. I agreed to help him as best he could, and Sibo's been... Sibo.
Oh man, that's
Fair
cool.
enough.
That's really good for Granifor. You know, I always liked this platform. And he like kind of like looks over like, oh, but also we like, I totally would have voted for you if I could.
It's fine. I fully get it. I'm a little hurt that you guys didn't stick around, but government bit. I understand. I understand. She does not
There was
understand.
a lot going on.
Speaking of a lot going on, as you guys are having this conversation, the door bursts open, and you see Erwin. And he just says, Niabra, how do I send that
Erwin!
Winterra! And he runs over, grabs you by the wrist, and drags you.
Yep, nope. She does not resist that.
Do the rest of you follow as Bookworm sprints desperately afterwards?
Yes.
Yep.
So the entire time, he is just bolting on through. Like, you guys cut right through the town. People say hi, but he is not letting you do anything about it. And as you make your way to the edge of the Midnight Woods, Winterra, you and everyone else see something that horrifies you to your core. Deep within the woods, you see a pillar of flames erupt up into the night sky.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh shit, not again, not again, not again, come on!
What do you mean not again?
And Erwin picks up the pace as this goes on, and you guys continue to follow him. He's getting faster and faster to a point where, Winterra, you're having a hard time keeping up with his pace. Like, he's basically dragging you at this point. And the flames don't dissipate. They stay the entire time, a beacon, almost guiding your way. Until eventually you reach a clearing. Your clearing. Your home. And what you see defies everything you thought you would see. In the center of this giant pillar of flame, you see Holly, bent over, hugging a small, crying child. And you just hear, "It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. They can't hurt you, they can't hurt you." And the flames dissipate. And you see Oliver. And that is where we shall pause our tale for now. Hello everyone, Jordan here. We have a few plugs to shout out, as well as a few bloopers that didn't quite make it into the episode proper. So make sure you listen to the very end. If you want to support the show, follow us on our Patreon at patreon.com/agentsofdamned. We post all our episodes there a full week before they hit iTunes, Spotify, or any of the podcasting platforms you can find us on. We also have a special after show called Peek Behind the Screen, where we talk more in depth about the episode, what we think will happen next, or whatever the hell else we feel like talking about. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram at Agents of Damned, and on Twitter at Agents of D. You can also follow our personal Twitters with me at Pokechap, Christina at Greekachu, and Katie at Missy Mystery, MYSSY Mystery. Drew is not on Twitter. We also have a website, agentsofdamned.wordpress.com, or agentsofdamned.com, where you can also find all our episodes, along with full transcriptions of each episode and personal bios of the cast. Additionally, we also have merch now. You can find a wide selection of our merchandise available over at tpublic.com/user/AOD, or just follow the link on our website. If you want to talk to us or our community at large, we have a Discord server at AOD, capital A, lowercase o, uppercase D, where you can chat, discuss theories, and submit fan art and suggestions for the show. We do ask that you keep it PG, lest we unleash our unholy wrath upon you. Don't forget to leave a review and share the show with a friend. Until next time, bye!
Oh, you bitch-ass motherfucker.
I was imagining, like, they roll up, and, like, the very first thing is like, "Who's that sassy fire baby?"
Did you intentionally give him the fire druid, Jordan?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, so many pieces fit together. That's not good. Oh, no. Oh, Jordan, you're a bastard.
That's too much of a compliment for him.
Jordan, you heartless man. You black magic son of a bitch. Oh, should I stop recording and then we do the thing? Oh yeah, I should stop recording.